let's go ahead and get to the MVP race, dog. I thought I was gonna do this tomorrow, but since y'all here, man, we might as well keep going. Uh, the MVP race is interesting because I guess it depends on what your criteria is, and I don't think there's no one in sports in the mainstream media that has a criteria, right? So you can never tell who they go. I mean, it's just crazy. I just heard somebody say Luka and Jokic. I think that was Charles Barkley like a week ago saying it was Luka and Jokic. And it was like, man, dang, what SGA at? He said Luka, Jokic, then Wemby, and then SGA like fourth. I'm saying, sheesh. Like, what's Charles' criteria? Like, I think that's interesting, right? But we got the best team on the West and the best team on the East. And you can kind of say SGA is leading the Thunder, and they're the best team in the league by far, not just the West. And then right behind them is Detroit. Like, it's insane. And I don't even think Detroit is. I don't think Cade is as good as SGA, and I don't think Cade has a number two that's as good as Williams. So it's kind of crazy how Detroit is kind of keeping up pace with OKC, and I don't even think their team is built like that. Hopefully, they're not this year's Cleveland Cavs, right? Just overachieving a little bit, and it's gonna show in the playoffs. But I think their playoff blunder was last year when the Knicks beat them. I think this year they'll be a little bit more ready. Same thing with OKC when they lost to the Dallas Mavericks year before last, but last year that was more ready, right? So hopefully that's the case with Detroit. But they're keeping pace with OKC, led by Cade Cunningham. With a number two, you can't even really, like, who's their number two for real? Is it Durant? He's not even a scorer like that, right? So you got to give credit where credit's due with Cade Cunningham for leading a team that's that competitive. Second team record-wise, second best team in the league, and the best team in the East, right? So for my liking and for my criteria, winning is still a big part of my criteria for the MVP. Not for the best player, but for the MVP, like winning, like whatever it is that you bring to the table offensively and defensively has to lead to team success. And for most MVP candidates, I'm not going to say most, for all MVP candidates, your team success, it has to be evident. But out of all the candidates who got team success, who has the most team success would be my next question. And, so Jokic team is successful. Cade's team is successful. Wemby's as well. Giannis's as well, but Giannis's is out now, so he's going to lose a lot of ground in this MVP race because he's out with the injury. So is Wemby. They're both going to lose some ground in this MVP race, so that might leave more room for Luka to jump in, and that'll be the only way someone that doesn't play defense will jump in. For me, is if the guys who does play defense somehow disqualifies themselves because they're missing a lot of time, which is what's going to happen with Wemby and Giannis' situation. Luka's going to move up on this ladder. I had a top five, and Luka wasn't part of it. My top five was SGA 1, Jokic 2, Cade Cunningham 3. I think I might get a grab it for that. So that was my top 3. It was SGA, Jokic, Cade. And then my 4 and 5 was Giannis and Wemby. But Giannis and Wemby they fall out of my top 5 due to injury, and I will put Luka at 4, and I don't have a 5. I honestly don't have a 5. Right, so I guess you would still keep Wemby there, and Giannis would be 6. But I guess I would keep Wemby at 5, Luka at 4, Cade at 3, Jokic at 2, SGA at 1. Right, so that's why I currently got it. And for those of y'all who have never seen my MVP criteria, I'm different from a lot of people because what most people, they come into the season with no criteria. And then they watch the games, and then the guy who impresses them the most statistically becomes their favorite. And then now their criteria just trickles from there. Like, I have my favorite. He's my favorite because he does X, Y, and Z stat. And now I just have to fill in the rest of the other guys. And the other guys are there for totally different reasons. Right. I got my number one so most people look at Jokic stats and say, man, he's averaging a triple double. Boom. And he's leading in assists and he's leading in rebounds. That's MVP. So now he becomes your number one because he's averaging a triple double, leading in assists and leading in rebounds. And then your number two is your number two for something totally different. Okay, so if your number one is your number one because he's leading in assists, leading in rebounds, and averaging a triple double, but your number two don't average a triple double, how's he why is he your number two? Like, if your criteria is triple double and leading in assists and rebounds, like, how do you come up with your number two? Oh, he's doing something totally different. So what's your number two doing? He's a great defender. He's blocking shots like Wemby. I think Barkley was like, yeah, Wemby is blocking shots and scoring, 24 points. And okay, that's totally different. Like, how's your criteria different from each player? Like, you start, my favorite players here statistically, and everyone else, I just come up with a whole different criteria of how I rack and stack you. Like, they don't make sense. Right. So for me, I come into the season before the season even start with a criteria. This has been my criteria for the last forever. This is my criteria. Offensive value, defensive value, and team success. That's simple. How do I measure offensive value? Well, for me, whatever you bring to the table, I value scoring. Right? Scoring is the most important thing to me on offense. It's the most important thing in basketball because the team with the most points at the end of the game wins. So if my best player is putting up points, that's giving me a better chance to win. Now, why do I value scoring more than I value anything else you can do offensively, like offensive rebound, set screens, assists? Is because scoring is an independent stat. You can do it independently. Like, when I give the ball to Jordan, he don't need somebody to set him up for assists. Just give him the ball, he'll go get the points. I need a game winner, go get the points. I need a clutch bucket, go get the points. It's not set up by an assist. Most of Jordan points was scored unassisted. So for the most part, your best player that's a dominant scorer, that sets up everything. The fact that you score 30 or more a game is putting your team in a better position to win, and the fact that you can score 30 or more also draws double teams, and that sets up everyone else. Even if I'm not recording the assist, my scoring threat is the reason why people are bringing two men toward me, and everyone else is eating off of that. So scoring is king. Assisting is a dependent stat. If I pass you the ball and you miss the shot, I don't get an assist. If I pass you the ball and you hit the shot, it's because you're capable of hitting that shot because you are a good scorer from wherever you at. If you're at the 3-point line and you're a great 3-point shooter, who gets more credit for that 3 points? If I pass you the ball and you hit the long distance three, who gets more credit for it? A lot of people are giving the passer more credit than the person who scored the point. And it don't make sense to me. So my value for scoring is always going to be higher than my value for assisting, but I do give some value to assist as well. So I take your points. If you average 30, I'm giving you 30 points. If you average 10 assists, I'm giving you half of that. Right? So 10 assists, normally, if I'm just being simplistic by it, give you 20 points. Right? But it's a 50-50 collaboration. Me for passing it and you for hitting the shot. Right. So instead of you getting 20 points for that assist, I'm taking it half and you're getting 10. So 30 points, 10 assists equals 40 points. That's how I get that offensive value. And then from that offensive value, I want to know, where does that lead your team? If the value you bring to your offense leads your team to being the number 1 rated offense in the league, or top 3 or top 5 or at least top 10, that's good. And then I take your defensive value. Now this is more film work. I don't take how many steals you average and how many assists, how many blocks you average and all that stuff. This is basically film work. Are you a good defender? How are you locking up on defense? Are you protecting the rim? Are you protecting the paint? Are you protecting the perimeter? Do you let people blow by you? All these things. Do you have that defensive value? And then I take into account what your contribution to your defense. What does it lead your team? Are you a top rated defensive team? Number 1, top 3, top 5, top 10. And I take that. So I take your offensive value and your defensive value. And then from both of those things, I look at your team success. What's your team record? Where are you at? And so for SGA, his defensive contribution to his team, now that he's not alone because he got other great defenders on the team with him, his contributions and what he does defensively has led his team to be, I think, the number 1 rated defense in the league. What he does offensively has his team as a number 3 rated offense in the league. And then, of course, they're the number 1 rated team overall as far as record. And the contributions from SGA, from his points and assists, land me to have him at my number 1 and Jokic at my number 2, Kate at my number 3. So that's how I get mine. And it's simple. It's a criteria that I have that I apply across the board to everyone. It's fair. It's not biased. And I'll apply it across the board to everyone. Everyone else's criteria makes no sense. It's not fair. It's biased. It can change any moment. All of those things. How many games should be the player be consistent to complement those pyramids, man? He said, how many games should the player be consistent to complement those pyramids? I factor in the games as well, right? So I haven't done it this week, but last week when I did it, let's see if I can go. Do I got a copy of it? No, I deleted it. Let me see if I can pull up an old one. I can put it on screen, but I factor in the games for sure. Yeah, I don't have a copy of but yeah, I factor in the games as well because I think playing as a matter of fact, let me just pull up this illustration. So how I come up with it, another thing that I believe in is they named the trophy after Michael Jordan, right? The MVP trophy is the Michael Jeffrey Jordan trophy, right? So I looked at the things that made Michael Jordan what he was and what his MVPs meant. And I'm just using his first MVP as an example, 87, 88. He played all 82 games. So if I look at playing 82 games as a standard, the player who get closer to that gets more consideration for the award for me. Michael Jordan also won Defensive Player of the Year that year. So I look at the player that's a candidate for the award, the player that's getting closer to a Defensive Player of the Year, or making a defensive first team, second team. Like last year, SGA didn't make first or second team. I think Lou Dort made first team and Williams made second team. They probably could have put Caruso on there as well, but they don't have a third team all defense. But so it's 5 first team and 5 for the second team, and they tally up all the votes that they get to get them on first and second team. And when I looked at all the votes, SGA had the 11th most votes. So that means if there was a third team, SGA would have been on the third team, or he was very close to being on second team. Right? Jokic was nowhere near getting any votes for any defensive team. Like he wasn't nowhere near. He didn't get any votes. Right? So out of all the candidates, I want to say, because Wemby wasn't a candidate, he missed the whole season last year pretty much. Giannis' team wasn't good enough. I don't know who else was a real candidate other than SGA and Jokic. So if Giannis and Wemby didn't get hurt this season, I think Giannis and Wemby probably both would have made first or second team. Wemby would have been first by a long shot, averaging 4.4 blocks a game. He would have been a probably defensive player of the year. So definitely first team and defensive player of the year. Giannis would have probably been first team or second team, right? So that means SGA probably would have been the third best defender out of all the MVP candidates, right? So, but he'll still get more consideration for the award because all the other things: number 1 rated defense, top 3 rated offense, number 1 team record rise, also, the points he scored and all that stuff. And, this dude ain't even playing fourth quarters, dog. That's how crazy he is. Like, if he really wanted stats for MVPs, all he got to do is just play the fourth quarter. He's missed 10 fourth quarters already this season out of 18 games. He's missed 10 fourth quarters. That means the game was already decided and he sat out the entire fourth quarter, not 1 second of the fourth quarter, 10 times. Right. So, but yeah, get close to the standard, which is defensive player of the year, 82 games, and scoring title. He also got the scoring title. So I look at those things. Who's the closest to the scoring title? Who's the closest to DPOY? Who's the closest to 82 games? That's another thing. Those are other things I consider as well. If that makes sense. Did that make sense to y'all? That makes sense. Yeah. So who said Dylan Brooks? I don't get that. I don't understand that. Can't be a stat pattern if you close games out by the third quarter. Absolutely. And that means you're dominating. Like, that's what domination is. Like, dude, I'm beating you. I ain't lost but 1 game, which in that game we was winning by 20 and we just took our foot off the gas and y'all came back and beat us. Right. So I'm 17-1. I slipped up. We lost 1 game. My second best player ain't even played yet. My third best player has already missed 4 games. Lou Dort has already missed 4 games. I'm playing with AJ Mitchell. This is his first time starting this season. Like, that's very interesting. And on top of that, we've only lost 1 game and ain't played 10 fourth quarters. That's insane. And I'm playing off ball more because AJ Mitchell is running point when he's on the floor. Right. So yeah, that's crazy, man. Okay, nice assessment. Yeah, I appreciate it, Tody. Appreciate it. SGA do play defense. That's why I like him. He gets dirty, he gets on the floor, slides his feet, good or all. Yeah, I 100% agree. So same thing with Kobe, man. Like he's cut from he's cut from that cloth, dog. Made of the right stuff.